We are back once again with our life. So if you don't know, I'm actually recording for the third time today. This is still September 10th for me as we're doing this. I've been kind of hyper focused on recording. That's not just because well, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I'm kind of really fixated on not only recording, but I do really enjoy editing together videos. I like this when I make animatics, where I just keep on make. But also, I'm trying to figure out the perfect formula to avoid the audio glitches, which is kind of why we're here again. So I tried a different setup with everything. I messed with the settings once again, and we're gonna see if this works. We're loading up our life. Nothing else needed to be said. The three of you were off with Derek leading the way. Derek brought you to the beach, and as a trio, you made your way down the shore to the old playground. You walked the familiar path with a comfortable silence. When you were almost there, you spotted the kid in question. His bright colors almost shone like a beacon beneath the rays of the sun. He scuffled around, kicking up the sand as he paced. It was true, he certainly seemed upset. You didn't think he was sad, like you had originally pictured. You had thought he was originally going to be a bit more like Cove. Quiet, sad, constantly bursting into tears. He seems more enraged. A sad, little angry man. No, with his erratic movement, scrunched up expression, he came off angry. He's a little epithelmier type. He's a little epithelmier. He is a little bit epithelmier. You started to have doubts about this expedition. Maybe it'd be better if you left him alone and let him sort himself out. Derek didn't feel the same. He waved wildly, calling to the boy. "Hey guy, over here!" The kid whipped around, an impressive scowl carving deep onto his face. His eyes were tired, but a strong hostile energy still radiated and took over him.
What?
What is it? What do you want? He's such a nerd. Look at this guy and tell me you wouldn't want to fling him into a locker or something. Honestly, the name he has is so predictable with his design. First, put your guess in the comments. Like pause. Put your guess in the comments. Come back. The sharp tone made Derek flinch. He shifted on his feet. What's your name? Jeremy. Was that it?
No.
No. I'm Derek. That's Pommy and Cove. We were just walking around and saw you. We wanted to say hi. There aren't a lot of kids in our neighborhood our age. Yeah, so, it's so cool to see someone else here. Strangely, Jeremy grew furious by your response. If steam could erupt from a person's ears, it would have happened then. They did bring me somewhere stupid, of course, I knew it. What?
My parents.
My parents, they're the ones who brought me. I don't want to walk this town. I don't walk to this town. Can you not figure it out on your own?
Right.
Right. My dad brings me to Sunset Bird, too. When he has to come from work. Actually, you know what? Can I, go back? I say that like I'm not in the middle of recording. You know what? I could cut that out. I could cut this out. I know how to edit. I know how to cut this out. But it could be funnier if I leave it in. Who knows? Right. My dad brings me to Sunset Bird too. When he has to come from work and all that stuff, it's not bad. See, I'm kind of trying to play with the idea of multiple takes. Me being bad at reading. And now I know how to cut things, so... That entered him a glare from Jeremy. Derek winced beneath it. Glancing away, it was a struggle to remain friendly with this Jeremy guy. I mean, I wouldn't want to come here for a real vacation, probably, either. I'm so sorry the mic just bumped. Oh my god. That's an understatement. This doesn't count as a vacation. It's a waste of time. A chore. My parents' family is nearby, and we just had to come to see them. Ugh. If they're your parents' family, doesn't that make them your family too?
I guess.
Yes. That's a pretty good reason to come by. Did you want to go somewhere else? No. Jeremy crossed his arms with a huff. He turned away. They should have gone by themselves, since they cared so much and left me home. But I'm not allowed to be by myself. God, he's such a little weirdo. It makes no sense. They're the ones who don't know how to do anything, and I'm the kid? You shouldn't talk about your parents like that. What do you know about my parents? Have you ever met them? No. Some parents are criminals, but I guess us brainless children have to be nice. Being rude to a parent is the worst thing in the world. That's not what I meant.
So dumb.
Close enough. You be there, kid. I'll take your mom and dad. Only someone with really easy parents would be dumb enough to say something so stupid. Hey. Pommy is not dumb. I'm smarter than you are. How are you gonna prove that when you're just saying one moronic thing after another? You turn to Cove, lowering your voice. The two of you aren't that similar after all. Jeremy must have had a good hearing, though, because he caught the private exchange and scoffed.
Stupid.
Of course we're not similar. My eyebrows aren't stupid. Cove's cheeks flushed crimson. I'm gonna turn this up on my end. I just can barely hear the sound. You couldn't be sure if it was out of embarrassment or anger, maybe both. Also, I'm so sorry if I caught my dad coughing. He's a smoker. He is a smoker, and he coughs loudly. And you could possibly hear his TV. I have no idea if you can, though. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm interjecting with in real life lore when I really want to have fictional lore, but I don't know how to describe my dad in a fictional lore. Come on. How can you say that when you've got a bowl cut? Yep, it's embarrassing and awful, but my parents made me so I won't have to have it when I'm older. I don't know what he's gonna do with those things except maybe shave them off. He probably should. I bet he'd look less dumb with no eyebrows. There's nothing else to do other than lunge towards him. With your fists balled, you make a quick step forward. He was the one who started things. You were ready to end them. He'd made it clear that words wouldn't work, leaving you to resort to action. You weren't sure what would happen, but you couldn't let this stand. Derek and Cove jumped in to stop you before you reached him. They each grabbed you by the arm. Still, Jeremy instinctively stumbled backwards. He practically fell over. If that's all you can do about what I'm saying, it's just proving I'm right. You're brainless. Bro's a fucking coward. Bro's a coward. He doesn't want to take hands. He doesn't want to take hands. Even Azul Ashen Grotto would raise fists. I'm just gonna say that much. Even Azul Ashen Grotto. Even Adia Shroud technically did raise fists. You were annoyed the other two were against you on this, and got in the way, though the reaction you had been able to get was still worth it. I hope he wets himself every time he thinks of me at night. Wow, what is wrong with you? Instead of taking offense, Jeremy only parroted Derek's words in a nasally voice.
Wow, what is wrong with you?
Oh my god. This kid is the worst. This kid is the worst. You're like, wow, what's wrong with you? This is so dumb. Jeremy stuck out his tongue and skulked away, throwing more sand everywhere as he went. You watched him go, hunched over until he became a speck in your vision. Silence reigned in his wake. The three of you tried to process what just happened. I can't believe it. What a mean kid. Derek wasn't kidding. And by those complaints, their new boy, Jeremy, was going to be in the area for a little while this summer.
This sucks.
I just literally accidentally skipped over dialogue. Things I'm meant to read, but I accidentally skipped over it. Derek sighed in dismay, plopping onto the ground. You followed, and Cove did too shortly after. There wasn't much else to do. This sucks. I was hoping we could meet someone fun and hang out maybe. He shook his head after a moment and slowly turned to you in a hopeful expression. But you know it would really improve the day? What? You didn't respond. Instead, he used a hand to point right at the fruit arrangement that you were still holding. You'd completely forgotten about it during the mini-drama that unfolded. You'd gotten used to the wait. Glancing over to Cove, you noticed he was eyeing the fruit. He must want some too. I should be saving it. It's about the principle of the thing. I guess we can eat. I think we do get a cute little vignette for this, so. Garrett perked up immediately at your words. He reached out for a skewer, hesitating slightly once he was inches away.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? You nodded. With an eager grin, he plucked out one of the prime fruit rows. Cove grabbed one for himself after him. Only you were without skewered on your own. We're taking strawberry. It's cute. As a vampire, I need to consume all the red that I can. The strawberry was a bright red, beckoning you. It was the obvious first choice. Derek ate a pineapple skewer enthusiastically, finishing it with moments. This is amazing. It's not different than any other normal fruit. It's kind of worse. These have been out in the open with their skins off for a while. Sheesh. You two remember the Land Before Time? That fruit thing makes me think of it. The dinosaurs are like the leaves that were shaped like the stars. Tree stars?
Yeah.
Okay, this is actually a nostalgia bait that I get. I watched quite a few Land Before Time movies myself. I do have quite a few DVDs. So, yeah, this is actually nostalgia that I get. Yeah, chomping leaves look so delicious when they did it. And there was a scene with the pretty trees and all the dinosaurs came in and picked everything until there was nothing. That's us now. Awesome. Okay. I do actually love that movie. I do like it. Me too. What if you continued like this for the next few minutes? Eventually the display was barren. It looked weird with devoid of fruit. Oh, it made us feel better because those who eat the Paopu fruit remain part of each other's lives, their destinies intertwined forever. Now me and Cove are tied to each other. Derek was right. It was so good you were already brightening up from the earlier drama. Hey, Pame? Yeah? The two of them met your eyes casually. Were you seriously gonna hit that guy? Oh, he had it coming. Pame, that's so bad. I thought it was cool. Why? You're both crazy people. You knew when Derek said things like that. It wasn't serious. He liked you and Cove. Yeah. Derek then leaned back on his arms. He contemplated the night sky with a content sigh. Oh my god, I bet you it's not even night and I just added a random thing. Yep. Oh god. I could edit this out, but I'm lazy, so I don't think I will. So, are you both ready for summer break? School. Wait, no. Also, I'm supposed to be ready for a break. I just mean, it feels like there's a lot to plan for. What about you, Cove? Are you ready? I think that depends. Before you could say anything else, the light atmosphere was shattered. Hey, Pommy! You glanced over your shoulder to see your sister. She strode closer and closer, appearing none too pleased. I've been looking all over for you. Ma said you and Cove ran off with the thing Mr. Holden brought for us. She leered over you with arms folded. So, where is it? Well, it's gone. What do you mean gone? You moved over to the side to face her completely. She zeroed in on the bouquet in your hand, which was not populated with exclusively skewers dripping in juice and tiny flecks of leftover fruit pieces. Her mouth dropped open and the tone of her voice rose.
What?
Seriously, Pommy? What were you thinking? It was supposed to be for all of us at home. She glanced at Cove, who sat beside you, and continued mockingly. Even if you did have an in with the delivery boy, this was up to Mr. Holden. Cove gave you a bent smile of support, which didn't help disprove her accusation. God, I can't speak. Get over it. Elizabeth narrowed her eyes, not at all okay with that kind of response. Oh no, I think I hear the mean kid coming back. We better get out of here. Elizabeth blinked around confused and looked around.
What?
What kid? I don't see anyone. Derek didn't bother when he just launched to his feet and ran off. Cove hopped up too, gladly taking the opportunity to exit the situation. He followed after Derek, but he looked to you from over his shoulder. You turned to watch Elizabeth. She stood back, raised. I ran. Without a word, you too got to your feet and bolted down the beach. Unimpressed, Elizabeth rolled her eyes.
So immature.
They're so immature. Yeah, 'cause you're an old hag. She shook her head and walked towards the house, not bothering whatsoever. Meanwhile, the three of you made it back to the shoreline. Derek pumped his fist, grinning in triumph. We escaped and shall live to see another day. Yeah, for now at least. I still have to face Elizabeth when I go back home. You chuckled together, walking further down the beach side by side. You definitely want to stay outside a little longer. You had gotten a bit of a scolding from your moms for not saving any of Mr. Holden's gift for Elizabeth, but you didn't get any real punishment for it. Lay for me. Instead, while you were out with the boys, Elizabeth returned home to share the news. The three of them went to get dessert on their own. It was declared even by your parents when everyone got back the event was settled. That was all a while ago now. Later that night, you found yourself seated near the kitchen counter. This keeps going and going and going. Your fingers drummed the surface as you waited, your gaze trained on the phone. You were waiting on a call tonight, specifically from your cousin Leandra. You didn't want to miss it accidentally. Your uncle, aunt, and Lee lived many hours away. Your families only saw each other a few times every year for big occasions. A while back, though, they'd moved and were closer to you than ever before. You now hung out regularly. With school out, you're positive she's going to want to come over a lot. The two of you were the same age and got along well. She used to be really fond of Lizzie, Elizabeth too, but now that your sister had become allergic to interacting with her own family, it tended to be just you and Lee who spent time together. Because we're 13-year-old girls, and Lizzie is too old to be girly pop. She is too old to understand the culture of a Barbie movie. She's too old to understand Bratz as a sleepover cinema, okay? She's never seen the Bratz movie where all of the models get turned old and their bones disintegrate. Which is, yes, a real plot point. Go look it up. Being family helped, but you had a lot of girlfriends. Yes, because I was mainly friends with girls in school. You often gravitated towards other girls and befriended them pretty easily. You didn't have many non-girlfriends. It seemed that it was just the type of person you associated most at the school. Then the shrill ringtone announced an incoming call. You jumped before grabbing the receiver and pressing it to your ear. Leave, finally! Hi! She's so cute. I love her. Sorry about the wait, Mommy. It took forever to get the phone away from my mom. That's okay. There was static on the other end, as if Lee was shifting wherever she was. So can you believe that school's actually over? I thought it'd never be done. Now we don't have to do any of that boring stuff. We get to hang out whenever we want. Speaking of hanging out. Wait, can you wait a second? Let me just head to my room.
Oh yeah.
She knows what's up. She knows what's up. She knows what's up. You got up from your seat at the counter. Luckily the phone was wireless. So you didn't have to worry about any cords tying down. Oh my god, how long ago was GB Patch alive? What sort of phone has cords? Like, I don't even remember that being a thing in the 2000s. Okay, now granted, I was born in the 2000s, so my acknowledgement of the 2000s is more like when we're getting to the 2010s. Because I was born in the 2000s, so for me the 2000s was more like, we're getting close to the 2010s and I'm learning how to walk and speak and stuff. Like, what? What kind of phone has a cord? Oh my god. Your mom's had a rule about not moving the phone unless a call was in progress, which was why you'd been sat by its cradle waiting for Lee to call. I'm actually really curious about how much of, like, this game is influenced by the life of the people over at GB Patch. I'm actually really curious about that. Because some of these references seem very specific. I'm gonna make a wild guess and say that they're probably born in the 90s over there. I feel like they're probably more of a 90s kid. I had a lot of older siblings who were like that, so that's kind of like how a lot of their stuff got passed down to me. That's more of that is more out of bat lore. That is some out of bat lore. Your moms could be really unfair. You did not enjoy how strict they were with so many little things. But now that Lee had called, it was okay for you to go upstairs to your bedroom, talk to her, and we could talk all night and I could paint my nails and we'll be so cute. You made your way up the stairs, smiling. After you arrived, you shut the door to your bedroom firmly behind you and took a seat on your bed, content that no one would attack me. Anyways, I do kind of wish that we could customize our room a little bit. I don't know, I just think if it was me, this would actually be a lot more pink. I love the black, but this would just be more pink if it were me. Alright, I'm here.
Cool.
Cool. Hey, did you know the girl down the street from me has her own phone now? A cell phone. She doesn't have to wait for me to stop using it or anything. Wow, really? Right? I wish I had one too, but my parents said I couldn't get my phone until I'm more grown up. I wish they'd change their mind. We could call each other every single day and no one would be able to stop us. How great would that be? Wouldn't I still be using a home phone? My moms would be able to stop us if they wanted. Lee laughed. You didn't put a damper on her imagination. Oh, then you have your own phone too. That works. She sighed dramatically. I bet I'm not gonna get one until I'm all the way in college. Squeezing the phone between your shoulder and your ear, you puffed up your pillows and made yourself more comfy. It was strange to think of a time when normal school would be over and you'd have to choose whether or not you want to go to college. School is such a big part of your life right now. Studying does not come easily to us. We're a sped student. You knew it was important and you wanted to do well. Frustratingly, your best didn't seem to quite ever be good enough. You didn't know how it could be harder. This is literally me outside of BAT. Once again, sped student. That was me. Felt a lot of pressure to get higher grades than you did last year. Your future depended on it. Yeah. You tried to sound engaged, but your mind decided to go back to school despite the season. Lee knew you too well to be fooled.
What's up?
You sound so spacey. What's up? Just thinking about school. Lee groaned. Are you thinking about how we don't have to think about it because it's summer? 'Cause that's what I'm doing. It's awful. I hate going. I get what you mean. Though I guess school isn't all bad. You can do some good things there. You can just do more when school's out. I guess the easiest way to hang out with people not in their neighborhood. If I didn't go to school, I'd never meet anybody new. No one really comes here. Learning things can be cool. I just everyone did okay with how they taught things, not just some people.
Me too.
She's so cute. That's it though. And that's pretty much everything that's good about school, because school sucks, Lee. School sucks so hard. Okay, point taken.
Alright.
Now I decree the topic of school officially closed. We have to talk about this summer first before we start plotting the rest of our lives, and I've got some plans already. Ooh, tell me. I'm gonna visit my cousins. You chuckled, of course. What's something you want to do? What's the first thing that comes to your head? I want to hang out with Cove. Honestly, beach. That's my favorite thing. I love swimming. I could have guessed that one. You leaned back in your bed, settling in as you continued chatting with your friend. Even though it hadn't been long since you saw her, you'd be seeing her soon, you found plenty to talk about. For one, the events of the day, you sat up straighter. I was with Cove and Derek today, and we met a new kid. Like, at your neighborhood? His parents were visiting family, so it sounded like he would be around for a long while. I don't know how long. What was he like? Gross. He kept snapping when all we were trying to do was talk to him. He just kept being rude to everyone. But especially Cove, it was awful. Man, I don't think I want to meet him. You want a boy to stay away from... You want a boy to stay away before ever meeting him? That's an unexpected twist. Her cousin was pretty popular with the boys who knew her. She seemed happy enough to have them around until they started to annoy her. Who are you to talk? Cove and Derek are always around. They're both boys, you know. That is not the same. We laughed at your rejection of the idea, deeply amused. Even though she couldn't see, you shook your head at her, grinning to yourself. There was a stomping noise approaching your room, heralding the arrival of your irritated older sister. She flung the door open. A frown etched on her face.
Come on.
How long are you going to hog the phone? Glancing at your watch, you realize that your quick call had gone on much longer than anticipated. Elizabeth held out her hand. The other one lodged on her hip because she's trying to be mature. She noticed the realization on your face. Time's up. No, get out of my room.
In your dreams?
I don't think so. You can have everything in the world. Neither can you. I'm not the one asking for it. You had your turn. Now you want to get mine too because you were first? In your dreams, I will get Mom's. I'll glare at her. She glared right back before whipping around and shouting out your door.
Hey!
Mom, Pommy won't give me the phone. And it's way past my turn. Okay, but I'm talking to family and you don't want to talk to family. She hollered back up the stairs. Let Elizabeth have her turn. Sharing is caring, and you only get rights to the phone if you use it responsibly. You heard her. Fine. Lee, I have to go now.
Bye.
Okay, see you soon. Tell Elizabeth and your moms I said hi to. You know Elizabeth don't want to talk to you. She an asshole. You know she doesn't want to talk to you. You'd barely pressed the end call button when Elizabeth whisked the phone from your fingers and began dialing someone new as she strode out of the room. Your mom's voice called from downstairs. Hey, has anyone seen my phone? I'm using it. With that, she shut your door behind you. Silence was left in the wake. That was one way to end your first day of summer break. She a demon! Come on. Sometime later, it had gotten dark outside, and you laid in bed wide awake. Your window rattled all of a sudden, startling you badly. You flinched, staring over at it with furrowed brows. From your vantage point, you only saw the moon and an open sky. You were scared. What had caused that noise? Was it a monster? A beast, perhaps? I have to edge closer to the window. Swallowing hard, you sat up and moved closer to the window. You could only hope this wasn't a bad idea. How badly my little vampire heart wants to see a monster. I yearn for it. To your utter shock, your gaze was met by a pair familiar of ocean blue eyes. This is so romantic. This is so romantic. This is so romantic. Oh my god. My earbuds are falling out. Cove? You squinted. Yep, Cove was right outside your window. Your house was very angular. Some parts stuck out further than others. So theoretically, it wouldn't be hard to climb around. Still, just because someone could didn't mean you expected it to ever happen. To his credit, Cove was doing fine. His feet were braced against a section of the wall that jutted out, his arms flexing with the effort to keep him upright. Oh my god, he's so cute. I'm so excited. No, I don't want to quit. Oh my god. He easily lifted a hand and waved at you from the other side of the glass. You hurriedly opened the window. Oh my god, this is like something out of a little novel. Cove climbed over the ledge, releasing a breath before he was safely inside. Hi, Pommy. Amazing, my dreams have come true. Come on, Pommy, don't joke. I needed to talk to you and couldn't wait until tomorrow. If I rang the doorbell, I know your moms would have answered, and they'd just make me go home. I don't really want to explain why I was coming over. I don't want to talk about it. Well, besides with you, I mean, that's why I did that. As unexpected as this was, your touched Cove felt like he could tell you what was wrong. I might have tried calling or something, except my dad was on the phone. Cove suddenly looked very cross. Dad, he was talking to Mom, still is probably. He raised your eyebrows. Cove had eavesdropped on his parents' phone conversation? I would have done that too. I would have listened to. Cove looked relieved. A small smile played on his lips. Yeah. It's hard not to spy at least a little. It was about me. Are you going to stay with your mom for a while again? Every year, Cove was sent off to live with his mom for a few weeks. When it happened varied. Sometimes he would go during winter break, but usually he went during summer. Even though it was hard news when you found out he was leaving, you missed seeing him those weeks. You understood. To your surprise, somehow he shook his head. That's what I thought too, but no. That's not what they were saying. My dad asked my mom to not have me leave this year. He said she could come stay with us here. I waited for him to continue. He didn't. The conversation abruptly dropped off. You couldn't help but stare at Cove. This was a complicated mix of expressions on his face. What did your mom say? She told him he'd like to come. She told him she'd come. I know she's coming soon before school starts. You heard Cove talk about his mom a lot over the years. He'd tell you about past memories or what happened while he was visiting her. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, this is so cute. Cove blinked, startled, before his expression softened into something more natural. Conversation was stilted and broken often by silence at first. Then both of you were able to get into your usual candor. You know, that expression kind of made him look a bit like Trey Clover, and it kind of took me out of it a bit. I don't know. That expression looked a little Trey Cloverish, and it kind of ruined the attraction for a minute. As your secret hangout session stretched on, you thought that you truly wanted to keep having moments like this with him. You hoped a day would never come when life decided that the two of you would have to part ways. You knew that Cove felt the same. Oh my god, I should have chose Christ. This is heavy. I'm feeling like, oh, I'm fond of Cove. He's my friend. When I set this up, it's like the game, you're in love with Cove, actually. You're in love with Cove. You opened your tired eyes, groaning as they adjusted to the bright light that was streaming through your window, warming your olive skin. With a loud yawn, you rolled away from the sunlight. So I guess we go. You rolled away from the sunlight and blinked a couple of times. You must have fallen asleep while you were hanging out, but couldn't put a finger on exactly when. Oh my god. I'm gonna jump. Your feet hit the floor faster than the speed of light, though Cove remained asleep. But he certainly couldn't stay like that. No whisper in his ear because it's the scariest thing I could do. Cove, wake up. You whispered his name softly but urgently. His eyes open as, what was that for? Shh. What? The situation suddenly dawned on him too before he even finished the word. Fun fact, there's a point in this game where Cove's dad tries to give you the talk and encourages you to not do anything because you're still young. I wonder if it's in this step or the next one. I think it's in this step. It might be in the next one. I think it's in the next one because we're in high school in the next one. I think it's in the next one. But you know what? Everything that happens in this stuff doesn't help. Imagine you're the parents and you find out a teenage boy is in your teenage daughter's room. What are you gonna jump to? Cove blinked a couple times, his eyes growing panicked as some thought that only he could hear settled into his mind.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, I fell asleep. You weren't exactly sure what to do as you watched Cove pace around your room, looking around frantically. Can't we just pass this off as he arrived really early? Can we just give Cove some of my clothes and pass it off as he arrived really early? Cove's hands flew to his face, letting out a sigh of relief when he found out where his glasses right where they were supposed to be. Despite that, he hadn't calmed down completely. The atmosphere was still frazzled. Settle down before my moms hear you. Cove nodded, his shoulders tensed. He didn't want to think about your parents. Cove nodded, his shoulders tensed as he fixed with a firm stare in his turquoise eyes. Letting out a heavy sigh, he ran a hand through his hair in exasperation. He couldn't look at you the same again as he spoke. I'll see you later. You were confused by how all this had played out, but hoped that was true. Right, bye, Cove. Oh my god, has Cove seen me in my bra? At that, you were suddenly wrapped up in a tense embrace, as panicked as he was. This seemed to be something he couldn't forget before leaving. Thanks again. You're a good friend, Pommy. He firmly whispered the words in the top of your shoulder. But you were let go before you had the chance to respond, or even fully react. In a matter of seconds, he climbed over your bed and opened a window. A cool breeze rolled off the ocean, fluttering through Cove's hair and filling your room with its salty scent. Cove fearlessly stepped out onto the ledge. You wished him luck. Good luck, be super careful, make sure your dad doesn't kill you. You weren't sure if he heard you or not, but he kept going, one foot in front of the other, with increasing speed until his form disappeared out of sight. You stuck your head out the window as far as it could go to try and keep watch. He walked the full length of the ledge before jumping down the top of the garage and finally lowering himself onto the fence. From there, he dropped down to the ground. Bro, my boy knows parkour! You threw a thumbs up at his successful climb. My boy knows parkour. He ran off towards his house without stopping, disappearing behind the side of another building. You had to admit that you were pretty impressed at how doable he made that look. With a little sigh, you reclosed your window, deciding there was nothing more you could do. You hopped off your bed and got ready to head downstairs for the day. I can check myself in the mirror. You were certain you looked like you had just woken up with your black hair sticking out all over the place. Taking a comb from your bedside table, you attempted to smooth it out and fix it. You took the stairs and slowly attempting to mask your face in a look of innocence. I'm but a little sheep. I did not have a boy in my room, mothers. You were sure that someone would have come into your room if they had heard anything strange. But you couldn't be too careful. You had to play it cool. Like, we're casual out here. We're normal. Hell yeah. Like, we're so chill. Nothing weird happening whatsoever. Everything is totally fine. Totally fine. When you stepped into the living room, Elizabeth was there, tapping her finger on the counter. Good morning, Elizabeth. She looked you over immediately, her eyes squinting at the greeting. Why are you being so weird? You hadn't even done anything. Your big sister never missed a beat, unfortunately. You turned and offered a tight smile. Her lips pursed even tighter. Pommy. Wouldn't you like to know? I would. That's actually why I asked. You shrugged non-committally and determined to not tell her a thing. Further suspicious squinting occurred as she waited for something. but ultimately rolled her eyes, and you weren't sure if you were in trouble or not. She didn't seem to care enough to dig any further. Whatever. And then she walked straight out the front door, letting it slam behind her, and you let out a brief sigh. Elizabeth went out most days to hang out with her friends from school and around town. Today, you were extra glad for it, though you were also grateful she hadn't left the house any sooner and risked running into Cove. It looked like you were getting away with that. Breakfast was eaten in peace and alone. Your moms were both out by the time you had gotten up. They left you a serving of food from the breakfast they made: hash browns, an omelet, fruit salad, and there were a few sausage links. I'm only gonna... Passing on some parts I don't like. I'm gonna go with the fruit salad. Oh, I didn't even read any of this. Whoops. Well, sorry guys, I'm not pulling up the log. That felt unimportant. You didn't need to know what my breakfast consisted of. You pulled open the fridge again, lingering the frosty air for a moment or two, before grabbing an ice-cold water and taking a long drink. It was perfect. A balmy summer afternoon, and you had decided to head outdoors and find something to do. You hadn't decided what that something was just yet, but you were sure something would pop up. As you were headed out the front door, you paused for a moment. You hadn't seen Cove since he left that morning. You couldn't help but think about what happened to him. Would it be bad to go over to his house right now, or to call him to check in? You stepped out of your house, still stuck in an internal debate, when a voice caught your attention. Here she is. Hi, Mommy. Confused, you looked over where an unrecognizable woman was waving at you, a friendly smile plastered on her face. You racked your memory for where you might have seen her before, but nothing came to mind. Not your school, nor the country club your moms took you to, because we're filthy stinking rich. You had absolutely no idea who the woman was. The woman crossed the road towards you. You were a little unsure whether you should stay put or go back into the house and lock the door. Why is everyone in this family a serial killer? Oh, there she is. Oops, I'm sorry. Was that presumptuous? I've heard about you. But you have no idea who I am, do you? You shook your head and she removed her sunglasses to reveal sparkly ocean blue eyes. And all of a sudden she seemed a little more familiar. My son lives here, and my ex too. With a bent smile, she lifted a hand to point towards the condo across the street from your own house. She was Cove's mom! You didn't know her. You didn't know why you didn't recognize her sooner, now that you'd gotten a good look at her. She seemed strange. She looked at you expectantly, as if she were waiting for you to say something. No matter what your thoughts on her were, you still felt taken aback that she had appeared so suddenly. Cove mentioned she was coming, but you hadn't gotten the impression that it would be the very next day. She extended a hand, this time for you to take. You studied the manicured fingers in front of your face, the assortment of bracelets that dangled from her wrists. I'm Kyra Paris. You can call me Kyra. She's like an LA girly. I will not shake her hand. She looked a little sad that her gesture wasn't mirrored, taking back her hand and running it through her long hair, but she grinned sympathetically. I'm Pame, but you already knew that. That I do. Cove's mentioned you to me before. It's nice to might finally meet you, Pame. I have the energy of a supervillain. Cove talked to you about his mom. What has Cove said about me? Oh, I can't tell you. I've already said too much. She laughed good-naturedly. You couldn't help but be happy about that answer, though. The sound of the door opening and closing caught both your attentions, and when you turned towards the sound, it was Cove exiting his house, his eyes skimming the ground. Considering just how tall he'd grown, you figured his mom also would have been tall, but she was much more on the short side for an adult anyway. Cove's height must have come from his father. There you are. I thought you were going to be keeping me standing out here in the cold all day. You tried to catch Cove's eyes as he walked towards you, but his gaze firmly fixed on the sidewalk. When he finally crossed the road and looked up, he gave you a pitiful look. After the way he had acted last night, you knew he must have been feeling pretty mixed about this. You tried to wordlessly express that you understood. Cove and I are heading into town to grab something to eat while the snore is at work. Oh my god, skipped. Hey, you should come with us, Pommy. I'd love to get to know you better. Yeah, you should come. There was a pleading tone in his voice that you couldn't miss. Of course, we'll run it by your parents first, responsibility and all that. I get the vibe that this mom isn't responsible. It'll give me an excuse to meet them, which I need to do at some point. It's important to be neighborly if I'm going to be roosting on the street for the time being. Any hoosies, let's go. Kyra walked ahead towards your house. You hung back with Cove, who crinkled his nose as he watched her.
Sorry.
I'm sorry about her, but I really do want you to come. I don't want it to be just the two of us, not right now. You leaned in closer and whispered while checking around for anyone who might hear. What happened? Did your dad know you were gone? Cove shook his head and sighed heavily. I've never had this good outcome. I usually have the family find out. Dad was so focused on Mom showing up that he didn't even notice. I thought I heard them on the phone last night that it was something they were planning for the future. This morning, Dad said it was supposed to be a surprise. I guess I was surprised. She's gonna be here all summer. Oh. You were supposed to hear that too. Cove sighed again heavier. I'll go with you if you really want me to. He smiled, his shoulders relaxing in relief. Thanks. That'd be cool. The two of you headed over to where Cove's mom had just knocked on your front door and stood behind her. Mom answered the door after a minute, her eyebrows lifting in surprise at the group she found in front of her. You realized that, like you, she would have no idea that it was Cove's mom who was hanging out with you. However, after blinking at the woman a couple times and looking between her and Cove, the realization seemed to strike her. Hello there, I'm Pamela. I see you've met my kid Pommy. I'm guessing you've already known Cove for a while. Kyra laughed and you and Cove exchanged looks at your parents' weird sense of humor. Old people. Ugh. I'm Kyra Priest, Cove's mom. It's so nice to meet you. A head of purple and brown hair caught between your eyes as Ma popped up behind Mom and squeezing herself beside. That pop-up just messed me up a bit. I got a pop-up like, plug in your laptop, and I'm like, I am doing something. We have company. I was wondering what all the commotion was. She grinned excitedly at Kyra, the two of them introducing themselves and shook hands. Hi, Pommy. Cove. Cove smiled at Ma shyly, and she gestured a hand towards the living room. There's no use hanging around in a doorway. Why don't you come in? I'd love to, but I promised to take my son out to eat, and I wouldn't want to hold you up with a surprise visit. Oh, I understand. You're welcome to stop by any time. I'll take you up on the offer when I can count on it. Would you mind too much if Pommy went with Cove and I? My treat. We won't be driving. Just a quick walk down the road. Sure, that sounds nice.
Have fun.
I hope you all have fun. Give your moms a look and then they smiled at you fondly. You were happy they were letting you go. You could tell that Cove really needed the support and you were ready to be there for him.
Marvelous.
Marvelous. Now expect us back in an hour or two. We look forward to seeing you again then. Take care. Your parents waved goodbye and to the three of you as you backed up onto the street. There was the sound of the front door closing behind you. Sorry, I had to read it like that because I am struggling to words. With these videos, I'm struggling to words so hard. I'm pretty positive I saw some restaurants when I was in the taxi not too far from here. Yeah, it's a tourist town, isn't it? There's a lot of them. It's kind of strange to see Cove give someone this much attitude. If he wasn't in the mood to be nice, he generally kept to himself. Kyra put her hands on her hips and smiled at her son. Well, you sound like the area expert. Do you have any recommendations for a place nearby? Not really. Kyra pouted at him a little and turned to you instead. How about you, Pommy? Want to point me in the right direction? Sure. You would have been to a lot of places in town, and there were a couple that stood out from all the rest. There's a Chinese restaurant that me and my family go to all the time. It's my mom's favorite. There's also a tropical themed place that tries to be sort of fancy. Both sound like a treat. I'll leave it to you to pick for us. Cove is going through a phase over there. He huffed and turned his face away. Chinese, that's what I had for dinner today. Thank you, Pommy. Will you show us the way? You nodded, taking the lead of your little group as Cove and his mom followed behind you. Together, the three of you left the neighborhood behind. The walk was about 15 minutes long. The way with Cairo asked a lot of questions about Cove, the area. Cove was quiet most of the time, so you ended up answering her instead. Kyra explained that she lived in a large city. She loved how peaceful and relaxing everything in Sunset Bird seemed. The restaurant was busy as usual, but luckily you were shown right to a small table. Kyra lowered herself into the chair while Cove picked the diagonal one to her, not facing her or to her side. It was awkward. Let's see, to start, what would you like to drink? I'll get an orange soda.
Noted.
Noted, Pommy. Soda. Which flavor? No, we're gonna be the go. Lemon lime, sure. Kyra placed the order for your drinks, getting a black hot coffee for herself. And it didn't take long before they were brought to the table and set in front of. Why is their mom low-key Cater Diamond? Why is the mom low-key Cater Diamond? I need a Cater Diamond counter. I need a counter for every single time that I reference Cater Diamond or Twisted Wonderland character. Actually, since Popprint's going to be editing videos a little bit, my friend Popprint is going to be YouTube editor Popprint for a few videos. I don't know if this is going to be the one, but Popprint, if I do start that in this video, I would love to see you be YouTube editor Popprint and kind of add a little counter. I think that would be mad funny if I do put that in these videos going forward. I think a Twisted Wonderland counter would be really funny because it always seems to come back to Twist and Kingdom Hearts with me. You took a long sip of your drink as you looked around the restaurant. Your small group checked over the menus and you decided to order a usual thing. You had been faced with this restaurant many times, so you knew what was good and what wasn't really. Kyra and Cove didn't need any encouragement for this. They were totally focused on the information in front of them. Soon the meals were ordered and the menus taken away. You glanced at the table surface, wanting to figure out what to say. Cove sunk further back into his seat and avoided eye contact. He started to twiddle his thumbs, acting like, well, this was all perfectly normal. His sour feelings today were already unignorable. Instead of asking more open questions, he'd brush off. Kyra had mercy on her son. Instead, put her focus towards you. Oh, God. So, Pommy, what's a few things that you're into? There's got to be something you do for fun, especially now that you're not buried in school assignments. I know what that's like. I'm a cool mom. I like art. I mainly do drawing. And digitally. My computer at home doesn't really have all the programs I need. And I like to watch TV. It's pretty addicting when you find a good series, isn't it? And movies? Karen nodded her head. You guessed that she must like that too. And plays? It's very interesting. And I go to the beach and swim. You must be a strong swimmer since you live close to the ocean. I find the water a little scary. But I still like to dip my toes sometimes. That's how you got with Cove's dad. And we're going with I'm really into Cove last. I do write things. A fellow writer, writing is a great form of expression, don't you think? And I hang out with people. Hey, it's nice to have friends and family to spend time with. And I like to read manga, comics, fan fiction. Nope. Okay. And I'm really into Cove. It's always funny. It's always funny. It's always funny. It's always funny. Kara let out a sudden laugh, and Cove gasped behind you. It was dramatic. It was a dramatic inhale that almost looked like he choked on his own. That's what he did. That's what he did. That's what he did. You shrugged at the reaction. It was true. It was a truthful answer to the question. Pommy! Cove whispered at you disapprovingly, obscuring part of his face with his hand and went, Pommy! But Kyra only waved him off and encouraged you to go on. We spent time together when we can, and I like it. He's my best friend. Well, we have something in common. Harris smiled at Cove, who didn't look too impressed by either of you at that moment. I also like fashion. I like clothes. I didn't even read her response. Oops. Games are fun. I like to play video games. I don't know much about them. Maybe you can show me sometime because I'm old. And music. I don't play anything. I listen to it a lot. I have an MP3 player at home and that my mom helped me put some music onto, and I've seen some concerts. Oh my god, what time period are we? Is this the 2000s? Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so quick theory. When we're 8 years old, I guess it's the 90s. And now we're in the 2000s, cause what the hell? MP3? What language are you speaking? The last MP3 I ever saw in my life was when I was like 6 years old and I got given one of those Barbie World MP3s, the ones that were like you could dress them up, but I didn't even use it as an MP3 because I didn't know how. I think my dad had actual music put onto it, but I don't know how to use it, so I just kept changing out the clothes and treating it like a doll, and I carried it with me. Awesome. And that's it. Thanks, I'm happy to learn more about you. There's so much I hadn't heard. Cove leaves out the details. Girl thinks this relationship is what it isn't. He was trying to not pay attention, but you could tell he was uncomfortable. Hoping it would be clear some of the tension, you decided to ask Kyra a few questions of your own. Cove hadn't told you much about her, and you were curious to know more about this woman who was such a big part of his life. What exactly do you do for work? I'm a travel writer for magazines and things. I keep people in the loop of what's worth seeing. It's so good work. So this is Cater Diamond, right? We all agree, all of us Twisted Wonderland people, this is Cater Diamond. Actually, I kind of had this headcanon that Cater's mom is probably a really irresponsible woman, and I kind of had this headcanon that they're divorced. So actually, this might be Cater Diamond's mom. This might be Cater's mom. Wow. Are you in a new relationship? I kind of brushed the question off slightly. Not at present. Why did you and Mr. Holden get divorced? No, that's not appropriate. What do you like to do? Spend time with my little boy, of course. And traveling. A real shock, huh? Where do you live normally? Nevada. Have you ever been there? You shook your head. It's a beautiful place. Check it out if you can. Imagine you're playing Our Life and you literally live in Nevada. Also, the mention of Nevada makes me genuinely ask this question again. You know, how much of this is based in GB Pouch's life? I feel like this is inappropriate, so I can't ask that question. It didn't seem to bother her that the conversation dropped off. Cove sipped his soda angrily, slurping up the remaining drink with furrowed brows. He looked ready to run straight out of the restaurant. Not really an outro, but like, I couldn't do one. So basically the video is too long and the second part's gonna be on a different one. I just felt like it was literally already over an hour long, so different part.